And for one, I wanted to thank everyone for being on the call today. Secondly, I wanted to take care of a couple of housekeeping items. One, I am going to be putting our phone number up at the end of the call, and we are going to be having a special offer for those of you in attendance today. Two, we're going to cover a lot of content in a short period of time, and I know we're probably going to have a lot of questions on that. So what I want to do is when I put my phone number up there, I encourage you to give us a call. I'm not going to answer any questions on the call today because I want to stick to the time frame that we've mentioned. And I would imagine some of the questions that we would get are going to be better answered by one of our marketers here in-house that can address them to your specific situation. So with that, we'll go ahead and get started. So first off, for those of you that aren't familiar with Legacy Financial Partners, we're an independent marketing organization based out of Kansas. And I started this firm with two core aspects that I looked at. One, I saw a void in the marketplace for truly unique and innovative ideas. I felt like when you looked at a lot of the marketing organizations out there, it was a lot of the same thing. The same types of marketing approaches, the same types of sales concepts and ideas, and I feel like advisors are always looking for the next thing. They're looking for how can I make my marketing platform more robust, and how can I improve upon what I'm doing. Secondly, I felt like there was a lack of customization out there for the advisor, and what I mean by that is I felt like there was a lot of marketing organizations out there where they kind of had their standard operating procedures and this is how they do business, and then it was the advisor's job to fit into that or not. And I felt like that was the total opposite of how it should be. I feel like what's most important is what's most important to the advisor, and that the marketing organization should customize how they operate and what they do and how they interact with an advisor with how the advisor wants to be interacted with. So whether it's on the marketing solutions or even how you want your new business updates done, how you want requirements ordered on a life insurance policy, any of those types of things. I feel that the marketing organization should customize to you, because at the end of the day, the advisor is what drives this whole thing, this whole industry. So for the purposes of today's call, though, we're going to talk about ideas and innovation. So I'd like to start with talking a little bit about the shift that's going on in the marketplace. So the ways in which consumers seek information and make purchases has changed. This probably isn't a revelation to any of you, but 87% of adults use the internet. But here's what's more interesting. Among seniors with an annual household income of $75,000 or more, 90% go online and 82% have broadband at home. For seniors earning less than $30,000 annually, 39% go online and 25% have broadband at home. In fact, if you look at it, as of last year, 60% of the senior market views the internet as a primary source of information. If you look at the boomer marketplace, the internet is their most important source of information for major market purchases. And then if you were to go even younger and look at X and Y, those numbers are in the 90th percentile. So if you look at search volume, and this is a quick report that we put together, as I'm sure you can imagine, there are literally thousands of different iterations of keyword searches that you could conceivably do. We picked 20, and you can see on a low end, 1,600 people a month. And by the way, this is a monthly search, but 1,600 people a month look for an estate planning checklist. Over 500,000 people every month go online to look up what is an annuity. So if we can see the shift that's going on, which is that more and more consumers are going digital to access information, and not just in other industries, but especially in the financial services industry, what do? Well, when I first talk to an advisor, I want to get a good, clear, concise idea of what their business looks like, how they market, what are their goals, priorities, etc. And so when I ask about marketing, I typically get these types of options. I do direct mail, radio, seminars, a lot of your traditional forms of marketing. And those are all good forms of marketing. They have been for a number of years, and they'll continue to be good forms of marketing for a number of years going forward. But the shift that's occurred across all demographics is that the majority of every single demographic out there looks to the internet first. And that's where these marketing options lack. They're not oriented toward that. And it's our belief that a successful marketing strategy markets to your target market via the media platforms that they are most likely to use. So I don't think that there is a silver bullet out there. As much as that's marketed, I just don't think it exists. I sure haven't found it. But what I do know, with working with a number of advisors over the years, is that the most successful advisors, the advisors that consistently produce the most predictable results, do a few different marketing strategies at any given time. And while many advisors are doing things like direct mail, seminars, radio, preset appointments, if we know that there's a glaring hole in the digital marketing arena and that more and more consumers go there to access information, then it behooves us to have some sort of marketing activity going on there if we want to have a consistent, predictable growth of our business. And I think most advisors realize that. I think most of you know that that there is opportunity with the internet. But the issue is that having a website does not mean consumers will find you online. So when I'm going through a conversation with an advisor and I ask them if they have a website, because inevitably I do, 99% of the time the advisor does, and it's for the point that I just made, which is that they know that consumers go online. When I ask them how many people call you because they found you online, it's a resounding nobody. The other end of the spectrum, I have a website, but nobody calls me. Or maybe I get a call here and there, or people go to my site because I tell them to. Well, that's an issue. That's a huge issue, because anything that you're doing should help generate revenue for your practice. So there's a couple of reasons why, and we'll talk about why that happens. One of them being that the ways in which search engines rank sites have evolved. So all search engines, whether you're talking a Google or a Yahoo or a Bing or what have you, they use an algorithm. That's how they come up with X number of million search results in 0.3 seconds. The algorithm that's being used today is different than the algorithm that was used 5 years ago. The algorithm that's going to be used 5 years from now will be different than the one that's used today. And so aligning yourself with a firm that understands the algorithm and the changes that are going to occur is key to not just having success with digital marketing, but long-term success. Secondly, we know the market is there. You've got tens of thousands of people going there. So what I submit to you today, and this is what we're going to go through, is that we have created a solution to this issue, to this problem. So, okay, so components of a sale. I don't want to get into sales training or anything like that. But what I do want to do is give some insight into what our thought process was when we began development of this system. So we started this over a year ago. And the very first thing that I looked at was, what do we want this to do? What needs to be there for a sale? First, and I think most obvious, is that you have to have a prospect. Secondly, they have to have money. You could have a prospect that wants information, that really likes you, but if they don't have any money, then there's probably not a whole lot that you can do for them. 3, they have to have a need. You might have a prospect that has money, has done a whole lot of planning, and if they don't feel that they have a need, there's not a sale. Fourth, they have to be motivated. You could have a prospect that has money, knows they have a need, but if they don't have a desire to solve that need, there is no sale. And lastly, trust. This might be the biggest one of these. You could have a prospect that has money, has a need, is motivated to take advantage or take care of it, but if they don't trust you, if they don't trust that you're the advisor that can help them, then they're not going to do business with you. We have developed a system that will identify prospects that have money, have a need, are motivated to take action on that need, and before they even pick up the phone to call you, already believe that you're a trusted advisor and a reputable individual. Now, I know all of you are, but your entire community probably doesn't know that, and that's what this system will do. So, our proprietary system. The Trusted Optimized Producer System is comprised of 3 different components. These include search engine optimization, local integrated marketing, and reputation optimization. These 3 components operating in sync will position you as the most trusted advisor in your community, position you as the most highly rated and knowledgeable advisor in your community, and generate a consistent stream of organic, 100% exclusive client inquiries. Now, I use client inquiries for a very specific reason, and it goes back to the fact that we are an independent marketing organization. We're not a lead company. When a lead company, so how a lead company makes money is by selling leads. The more leads they sell, the more money they make. We, on the other hand, being a marketing organization, the way we make money is when an advisor writes a piece of business with a client with one of our carriers, they get their commission and we get an override. So you can see the conflict there. A lead company, the more leads they sell, the more revenue they make. With us, the more sales we help create, the more money we make. It's 2 different things. And so with a lead, what is a lead? That's a name, a phone number, hopefully a valid phone number, and somebody that says they're interested in something. We don't know if they have money. We don't know if they have a need. We don't know if they're motivated. And they certainly don't know who we are or trust us. A client inquiry, on the other hand, has money, has a need, wants to fix it, and already knows your name before they pick up the phone and call you. So let's drill into these. Reputation optimization. If I were to ask you, where do your best clients come from? I would imagine a lot of you would say referrals. And that makes sense. When you have an existing client or acquaintance or friend that refers you to someone else and you give them a call, they're probably more receptive to receiving your phone call. They also probably already believe that you must be a reputable individual because so-and-so that they know referred you over to them. And if you look at the statistics, that backs it up. 92% of the people out there trust recommendations from people they know. And so if you have 10 referrals and 10 leads, you're probably going to close more sales with the referrals than you are with the leads, because one core, very important aspect of that is you've bridged that trust factor. But here's an interesting statistic that most of you probably aren't aware of. 72% of consumers trust online reviews as much as a personal recommendation. Let that sink in for a moment. 72% of the population will trust an online review about you just as much as a recommendation from their brother, their sister, their parents, their best friend. This didn't exist 5 years ago. It exists now. So much so that this has become a core aspect of the algorithm that search engines use. And if you look at additional statistics around this, everything supports this. More and more people, when they're making decisions, will go online and look at reviews and look at opinions to help them make their decision. In fact, let's look at this question. If you were shopping online and find two products that are virtually identical and similarly priced, but one has all favorable reviews and the other doesn't have any reviews or has positive mixed with negative, which one would you buy? Probably the product that has all positive reviews. And let's take it a step further. I would imagine some of you probably have purchased things online. I would imagine some of you have probably used eBay before. Let's say you're on eBay. You're looking for a product, you find somebody that has it, and you want to buy it. What is the absolute first thing you do before you buy that product? You look at the reviews and the person selling it, right? You want to make sure they're a reputable individual. That if you send them money, not only are they going to send you the product, but that it's a good product that'll do what it's supposed to do. So many of you already go through this process already. And Google has noticed this. All the search engines have. In fact, they now serve search results by reputation, not just in open search results, but especially in all local, in proximity, map search results. So within this system, we've developed a software that integrates into your web presence that automates a review filtering process. What this does in addition to that is it captures reviews and syndicates them to make it very easy for consumers to find them. So if we go back to my question on the previous slide, if you've got a consumer, let's say they're interested in, they have money to invest, they don't really have a relationship with an advisor, and they're trying to find somebody in their local market, and they do a search, and they see one advisor, or it's just their website, and then they see you, and they see that several people have said very nice things about you, about how you listened to what they had to say, you put together a good plan, you were very knowledgeable on the topics. Which person do you think that consumer is going to call? They're going to call the person that they feel they can trust the most, that is the most knowledgeable, that is going to help them solve their problem. This system automates that process and positions you as a trusted advisor. The second aspect of this is search engine optimization. So we've optimized this system for specific intent keywords. Now, I say specific intent keywords because that is different than a keyword. A keyword might be life insurance as an example. And many of you might think that, okay, well, if my site shows up on when somebody searches life insurance, that's a good thing. That's a product I sell. Well, is it really? What do we know about that person? We don't know anything. That could be a college student writing a paper about life insurance for their finance class. In fact, that could be somebody that wants to get into the financial services industry and is doing some research on life insurance so they don't sound like a dummy when they go in for their interview. A specific intent keyword, on the other hand, is a consumer that the reason they're typing it in is because they're interested in buying. And at the very least, have money, have a need, are motivated to take care of it, but just aren't sure what they should do. So with this system, each advisor receives a unique profile page that's optimized to a set list of specific intent keywords. And I'm going to show you how that works here in a second. In addition to this, each advisor is able to link their base website to their profile. And here's why this is important. I'll use this analogy. Let's say you own let's say a lawnmower company, and you've worked out a deal with Walmart, and Walmart is going to sell your lawnmowers in their stores. And so as part of that, they put a link to your website on their website. Part of the algorithm and part of how websites are ranked is based off of authority. your knowledge on a particular topic. When a site that has a high volume of traffic puts a link to another site on their website, what that says is that smaller website is relevant and knowledgeable about the topics that that base website indexes on. So it pulls your website up in the rankings. So if you look at this on a local scale with you and the other advisors that are in your community, you probably all have websites and you're all trying to compete. Think of being able to link your base, your regular website, to a national site as nitrous and being able to pull your site up. So you might be wondering, well, what are specific intent keywords? I'm going to show you a couple. So if you take a look up here, you'll see, what is universal life insurance, definition and quotes available. The other thing that you will see is, here's our website. So you see these three spots right here. These are advertisements. We are the #1, and depending on the area, it might be the second spot, but #1 website in the country. Somebody that types in, what is universal life insurance, definition and quotes available, what do we know about that person? They've been doing some research on life insurance. They probably looked at term insurance and said, I don't think that's a solution for me. I'm interested in permanent insurance. What do we know about people that buy permanent insurance? They probably have some more assets available. And then in regard to quotes, what do we know about universal life quotes? Well, one, you can't get those online. If you do enough searching on term insurance, you can probably find a free term insurance quoter. But universal life, you have to talk to an advisor about. Let's look at another example. Annuity calculator, learn about fixed and variable annuities. What do we know about that person? They're interested in an annuity, and they're trying to figure out what are the different options and what might make the most sense. Secondly, they have money to invest, and they want to get an idea of what kind of yield would that generate, and what kind of return would I get. If you look on here again, you'll see we're the #1 ranking website. And again, depending on the area in the country, that might fluctuate between the second and third spot. But one important aspect, there's a couple of things that I want to point out here. So one, you see that our website shows up. When we create a profile for an advisor, that is an extension of our base domain, the name of our website. So you can tell in this area, we don't have an advisor in this territory. Which, by the way, and we'll talk about this, this is a territory-based system, and we'll talk about why we structured it that way. But you can see we don't have an advisor here. So what shows up is our website shows up. When we create your profile and link it to our website, now your profile takes that spot. Now, I would imagine some of you have looked into online marketing. Some of you have done research on search engine optimization before. And if you've gone and talked to an expert in that arena and said, how long will it take me to rank my website organically on these search terms? You know what the answer is you're going to get? 6 to 9 months, maybe 12, depending on how competitive the keywords are. We can insert you into the system, and the reason that we can do that and get you ranked very high in a short period of time is because we started development of this system a year ago. So we've already done all of that legwork. The second thing is, you can see on this search term, somebody's looking for an annuity calculator and wants information on fixed and variable annuities. I believe that there is no substitute for a knowledgeable, trusted advisor. And we've structured the content and the entire consumer side of our website, which I encourage you to take a look at, around that philosophy. Somebody might be searching for a calculator or illustrations, but you know what? That is only one little microcosm of that product. That tells you one little piece of it. What's most important is, what are the assets that you have? What are your priorities? What are your time horizons? And what's important to you? And then finding the best product available. Just because something has a high rate doesn't mean it's the most suitable product for an individual. And so even the content on the site is oriented around that fact, saying, we know that you might have been looking for an annuity rate calculator, but here's what you need to consider. That's a very simple tool, and you're a unique individual. And really, you need to be talking to a knowledgeable financial advisor. They're going to best be able to answer your questions. And yes, they can provide you the quotes and illustrations, but they can provide you with quotes and illustrations that are customized to your specific situation. Now, many of you have probably looked at online marketing and said, well, you can do AdWords and pay-per-click advertising. And you can see that here. You can see the ads here on this side, and you can see the ads here on this side. An organic search result is going to have a higher conversion rate than an ad. In this day and age, consumers know that those are advertisements. It doesn't speak to how knowledgeable they are on a topic, how trusted they are on a topic. But if you rank at the top organically, that means a couple of things. One, you must have a pretty good idea about what you're doing. What you do and the content of your site must be relevant to that search. And then three, with the reputation optimization that we've layered in, you must be a pretty trusted individual. And what you won't see on our system and with our site is quoting a high rate to attract attention, or doing a bait and switch and saying, don't buy an annuity until you do this, so I can sell you an annuity. People are smarter than that. They see that. What people want is to find a source of good, reliable information, and then if they want to talk to an advisor about it, who are trusted advisors in their community that they can talk to. And that's what we've designed the system around. So what are the benefits to the advisor? You know, again, a consistent stream of 100% organic exclusive prospects. Now, this system takes about 6 weeks before you start generating prospects. Now, the reason that it takes that time frame is we've got to set everything up, and I'll go into some of the things, some additional things that we do with the system, but I want to show you some results. We launched the system in August. And so what I want to show you here is an example. We track everything first off. We track everything because the only way to continue to improve is to look at what are you doing and how can you improve upon it. So if you look at this advisor's site, this is a report on their site, 22 queries. So this means they ranked on 22 keywords. If you look at the date and time, you can see this was the 30 days prior to them getting into the system. They indexed or showed up on 22 searches, but then if you look over here under average position, you can see they're 10, 20, 30, 40 pages back on a lot of these search terms. Now, as I mentioned, we rank on, and I've shown you a couple of specific intent keywords that we rank on. So we rank on all those keywords. An ancillary benefit to this system is that we rank on these long-tail keywords. Well, when you have a consumer in your local market that maybe does a search that incorporates some of the words in our long-tailed keywords, but not all of them, it will rank your website as well. So for instance, let's say we rank on what is the best fixed indexed annuity and how do I get a quote. If somebody in your area searches fixed indexed annuity, because we've optimized our national site and you link to it and all those things that we've discussed, you'll index on that shorter tailed keyword. So as an example, you can see that this person 30 days prior to being in the system showed up on 22 searches. If you look up here, August 18th to September 18th, so through last Friday when I ran the report, they now show up on 153 searches, 153 different keyword combinations that they rank on. Prior to being in the system, it was 22. And I'm going to take this a step further. If you look here, you can see that they now rank on the first and second page for 17 different keywords in the last 30 days. So prior to being in the system, they only showed up on 22 different keywords, and they were 10 to 40 pages back, and in 4 short weeks, they now show up on the first and second page of Google, Yahoo, Bing on 17 different keywords and index on over 150. Now, what I haven't put in here, as you can see, we probably don't optimize for somebody putting in fixed index annuity and then a city that somebody's in. So what I haven't put in here is all of the specific intent keywords that we rank on nationally. These are, to the point I was making earlier, when somebody searches snippets of the keywords that we rank on, it will pull that advisor to the top. So you have a consumer that types in fixed index annuity in your city or tax advantages of annuities. They pick up the phone and call you. Do you think you have a pretty good shot at getting an appointment with them and maybe closing some business? Does your site rank on these types of iterations? The issue, going back to what this system solves, is that you are knowledgeable, you are trusted, you know what you're doing, but your entire community just doesn't know that. And this system creates that and puts you in a position where when people are searching relevant topics to your business, they are easily able to find you and pick up the phone and call you and say, hey, I'm interested in indexed annuities. I found you online. I saw you on here. I'd like to talk. And it's not just, I'm using annuities as an example here. This advisor, with this system, you can choose the product lines that you want to rank on. As you can see, this advisor works with indexed annuities and fixed annuities. So this is what he wanted to rank on. But you can choose annuities or life insurance or wealth management or all of them if you chose to. But again, in a few weeks, these are the results. So going into the next component of this system, it's local integrated marketing. So one of Google's most important indicators of a website's value is citation authority. What this means is that Google reviews and catalogs every time it sees your company name and information. The more times it sees it, the more relevant it views you. So with this system, we'll actually go out and we claim and promote your site and your information on 100+ directories. In addition to that, we implement maps marketing. So when you do a search, somebody's able to see where your office location is and see reviews about you. And we verify your business with Google, Yahoo, Bing. So first and foremost, many people don't even know that there is a verification process with the search engines. Typically, they think once I make a website, well, the search engine knows who I am. In fact, if I type my name in, my website shows up. But you're right, your website shows up. But one of the shifts that has occurred is that the search engines have moved to highlight local businesses. And in order to be viewed as a local business by a search engine, you've got to verify your business with the search engine. Now, this is something that we do for you. It takes about 2 weeks. So again, that goes back to what I mentioned before. It's about a 4-week setup process for us to get all of these things done. But when we verify your business with the search engines, that automatically is going to pull you up above the businesses that haven't. And as I just mentioned, many of you probably weren't even aware that there is a verification process. But here's the good news. Your competitors didn't either. And they probably don't know how to do it. You've got to align with a firm like us that understands that process. And at this point, you're probably thinking that we've been talking about getting you on the first page of the search engines. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about dominating the first page, having your profile listed, having the review sites talking about how good of an advisor you are, having your base website, having your verification link show up as well, to the point that when a consumer does a search in your area, they see you 4 or 5 times on the first page, and then maybe a competitor. Who are they going to call if they want to talk to an advisor? So what does all this mean? This system will elevate an advisor's reputation to position them as the best in the business in their local markets. Everyone in the advisor's local market will know that they are the most trusted advisor in their community. This system will generate a consistent stream of 100% exclusive, organic, and qualified prospects and client inquiries. Not just the leads, not a name and a number, but somebody that picks up the phone and says, I have this concern, and I found you online, and I'd like to talk to you about it. I'm getting ready to retire, and I'm not sure what to do. I'd like to talk to you about it. I have a few other key points, too, before we wrap up. The Trusted Optimized Producer System is the only cohesive digital marketing platform specifically designed for advisors. We've done all the market research. We're the only marketing organization in the country that has this type of a system. As I mentioned earlier in the call, there's lots of advice out there on best practices. There's lots of information out there about best practices, which is great if you want to full-time do that. But you're an advisor and you're running a practice. This is the only cohesive system out there that does all of this for you so you can keep doing what you do best, which is meet with clients and sell and help people. We are an IMO. We are a marketing organization. I've made that point multiple times. And I keep making that point because the only way we make money is when we help you close more business and you write it with us. So we have a vested interest in rolling out systems like this that will change the tangent of your business and help you make more money, and we can all make more money together. This system will enhance all of your marketing activities. So I've talked a lot about what this system will do for you. But let's say, for instance, you're doing seminars. You do your mailing. So you pick out your location, your date, your time, all of those things, and you're doing your mailing as an invite. Do you think that some of the people that maybe get your invite will go online and do a search about you? And do you think that if some of those people that do a search about you, when they go online, they see that you listen to your clients, you're very knowledgeable, you put together sophisticated plans, and you're very helpful, do you think that might take somebody who's on the fence about whether or not they want to go and push them over to the attendant side? Absolutely, because people are already doing that. And if you don't have a robust digital online presence, then you're shooting yourself in the foot. And by having that, if you've got these other core marketing activities, it will help enhance the response rates of those activities. Special offer. We have a special offer for everyone on the call today. We have a special bonus offer, but you've got to call in and talk to one of our marketers. But in addition to everything this system will generate, we're also going to be giving away bonus prospects with this system. Now, as I mentioned, this is a territory-based system. And we did that for a specific reason, because we're a marketing organization. And I'll give you an example of why we did this. Let's say we have an area that's going to generate 10 to 15 good quality prospects a month. If I go put 5 advisors in that system, in that area, you know what they're going to say? You know, I get 2 or 3 calls a month. When I get them, they're good quality people, but it's not enough. I would much rather have one person in that area, and we've changed the tangent of their business. They love us. They're making more money than they've ever made before. I'd rather go find 200 of those people and make them very, very happy for a long period of time than to cycle through thousands and thousands and thousands trying to put a bunch of people in an area that doesn't support it. So once we identify an advisor in an area, we lock that area up and that's it. Because, again, we're a marketing organization. We're looking to help you on a long-term basis and really help you grow your business together. So I want to thank everybody for being on the call today. Call us. Ask questions about the system. Ask about the special bonus. Ask about your territory, and if there's any advisors in there, and claim your territory. I appreciate everyone being on the call today. Our number's there, 877-614-0141. I look forward to speaking to all of you, and like I said, this is the direction that this market is going. If you don't align yourself with a company that understands that and knows how to implement a system, then you will get left behind. You look at where we're at right now, how are things going to be 3 years from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now? So with that, I thank everyone. I appreciate you taking the time today, and I look forward to speaking with all of you.